for UEFA for the 2020-2021 season, was named, as well as the manager of the 2020-2021 season for both the men and the women. For the Super Eagles, Coach Genotro has invited 30 players for the 2 matches. There are some issues. Maybe some players from the English Premier League and other leagues may not be allowed to go to Cape Verde, that is listed as one of the red countries because of COVID-19 restrictions. So we'll see what happens. First match will be against Lesotho, that's going to be here in against Liberia, that's going to be here in Nigeria, and then we'll have the other match against Cape Verde. So we'll see what happens, but we'll be looking at the players that have been invited by Coach Gennett Rowe. Now, Benjamin Mendy of Manchester City, terrible news coming from England. We hear that he has even been suspended now by Manchester City because he's facing a rape allegation, and this is not just allegations. There are 4 charges of rape against him. I wonder how he got himself in this situation. Cristiano Ronaldo, believe it or not, might be heading back to Manchester, but no, not Old Trafford. He might just be going to the Etihad Stadium. That's what is coming out. Even Fabrizio Romano has talked about this. It tells you how serious it is. Plus, what happened at the Diamond League bit last night in athletics, we will be looking at that. Good morning and welcome to Sports Fiesta. It is live on 90.7 KFM, Benin City. My name is Saliu Ibrahim, but they call me the Sports Ibracadabra, because I bring magic to sports presentation and analysis. CJ the Maestro is on the show this morning. CJ, good morning. Welcome. Let's begin from the UEFA Champions League draw. We saw what happened last night, and the draws were made Group A to H, and it threw up some very interesting fixtures. But before we start analyzing each group, let me just ask you, which do you think is the proverbial group of death?
I think Liverpool's group. I mean, if you look at
Group B.
Yeah, Group B. If you look at that group, I mean, it's going to be difficult for Liverpool in that group. If you talk about Group B,
it's difficult for everybody, not just Liverpool.
Yeah,
the other teams too will be looking at Liverpool and saying, "Hey, Liverpool are here. They are the 3rd most successful team in the history of the UEFA Champions League. They are the most successful British team in the UEFA Champions League."
Now, the key thing is that Atletico Madrid, they played Liverpool in the past. I think last season they knocked out Liverpool from the Champions League, if I'm correct. Liverpool also have met AC Milan twice in the Champions League history, twice in the final of the Champions League in 2005. Liverpool won that. In 2007, they beat Liverpool in the final with Carlo Ancelotti at the helm of affairs for AC Milan. So these guys, they know themselves pretty well. Of course, FC Porto, we know the romance between Porto and Liverpool. Liverpool usually beats them every now and then in the Champions League. So it's a familiar terrain. It's remember yesterday we were talking about the UEFA coefficient in terms of the first 6 ranked teams, and we know how far Porto have done in the last few years, how good they have been performing in the UEFA Champions League. And people at Atletico Madrid know that Liverpool is a familiar club. The people at Porto know Liverpool is a familiar club. AC Milan also know that Liverpool is a familiar club. So it's more like the English team there is at the center of every other team in Group B. So we're going to be watching a couple of interesting fixtures. It's a case of Liverpool maybe wanting to revenge on Atletico Madrid. Porto also wanting to do the same thing for Liverpool, and then AC Milan as well. It's more like they have an unfinished business with Liverpool. We're also going to see some other fixtures too, which may look similar to the case of playing the revenge mission. So let's see how it gets to go. Group B for me has to be the proverbial group of death.
Well, for AC Milan, talking about the unfinished business, I think they handled that in 2007. Remember that they met Liverpool again in the 2007 UEFA Champions League, not in the final, but they were able to eliminate them and won that. Was it even in the final? It was even in the final. Yeah, 2-1. 2-1. Yeah, and they were leading 2-0 before Liverpool got a goal, and suddenly the cat was left among the pigeons. Yeah, but I think they've been able to settle that, so maybe they'll be starting on a clean slate. They've met Liverpool a couple of times since then. Okay, so for that Group B that we're talking about, which many are pointing as the proverbial group of death, we've got Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, FC Porto, and AC Milan. Of all of these teams, there's just one that has not won the UEFA Champions League. And incidentally, that's the team that was in Pot 1, Atletico Madrid. A bit of a surprise that Liverpool were in Pot 2, and you just knew that they were going to draw one of the big boys. Of course, they couldn't draw Manchester City. They couldn't draw Chelsea.
There was no way they could draw Man United. So it had to be a Spanish team, maybe an Italian team, and that's what we're saying here. I think it's spread pretty well. I like the draw because it's competition. You have to ensure that the best teams, for the sake of money, you have to ensure the best teams get into the latter part of the UEFA Champions League. And of course, you know how it is. If you have the big 8 getting into the final phase of the competition, it's massive for the monetary aspect of the UEFA Champions League. Well, the reason why those sponsors, those big headline sponsors coming to sponsor the Champions League, it's not because of FC Porto, it's not because of Sporting, it's not because of Besiktas or Ajax, it's because of fixtures like Atletico Madrid versus Liverpool, AC Milan versus Liverpool, Manchester United, of course, versus the other clubs. So it's not hard to understand in any way. These are the fixtures we want to see in the UEFA Champions League, and they're serving us some semi-final fixtures in the group stage matches. I wonder what we're going to see in the latter stage of it.
Okay, so for Atletico Madrid, as I said, they've not won the UEFA Champions League. Liverpool have won it 6 times. FC Porto have won it twice, once in 1987 and then in 2004. Then AC Milan, of course, they are even more successful than Liverpool in the UEFA Champions League. They've won it 7 times, the second most successful after Real Madrid. Group A has got Manchester City, the English champions, Paris Saint-Germain. So Lionel Messi meeting Pep Guardiola again, and of course we know the history between PSG and Man City. In fact, even last season in the semi-final, it was Man City that knocked out PSG 4-1 on aggregate. So then RB Leipzig and Club Brugge.
Okay, we expect the top 2 should be like this because of Lionel Messi. PSG first, and then Man City second, RB Leipzig third, and then Club. The guys from Belgium, Club Brugge, of course, will come out first here. So it's straightforward. If any other thing happens here, I will be shocked and I will be surprised. Even though clubs like Club Brugge will of course go there and then try to be the dark horses and then the rest. But I don't expect anything less than PSG first, Man City second, RB Leipzig third, and then of course the club from Belgium would be in the first position. I remember now that there's a talk about Ronaldo going to Man City. That talk is beginning to build momentum. So if we have him there, we know how it is for a young man like that. He knows his areas in terms of the UEFA Champions League. Juve are not going to be there, so he wants to be in that competition.
Group C, we've got Sporting Lisbon, Borussia Dortmund, Ajax, and Besiktas.
This is the kind of group you want your team to be in. I
think Borussia Dortmund will fancy their chances here.
Yeah, absolutely. Borussia Dortmund, I would be surprised if they don't beat everybody here. They have to beat Sporting Lisbon, they have to beat Ajax, and they have to beat Besiktas. So I'm thinking in my head it has to be Borussia Dortmund first, and then Ajax second, Besiktas third, and then Sporting. Sporting have been relatively okay in the last few years in terms of the Champions League, but then I don't think they are in the class of Borussia Dortmund. I also don't think personally that they are in the class of Ajax. So let's see what they will come up with in terms of the Group C of the UEFA Champions League.
Group D has Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Sheriff Tiraspol. Maybe the presence of Sheriff here will make it look like an easy group, but you look at Inter Milan, past champions. Look at Real Madrid, they're the most successful side.
Multiple champions.
Yeah, Shakhtar Donetsk, they have left their mark in the UEFA Champions League. So this is not going to be an easy group, but then maybe Sheriff, everybody will feel okay, we can grab 6 points from Sheriff, who are making their debut in this competition from
absolutely
Moldova.
And that is key. It will be key for Shakhtar Donetsk, because imagine when they get 6 points against Sheriff and then maybe draw 2 more matches. That gives them how many? 8. Who knows if they even win 1 more against maybe Inter Milan, that gives them 9 points. Maybe it should be enough for them to qualify. So they have to plan their matches carefully. Look at those matches that are realistically you're going to win. There are fixtures you know within yourself you are not going to win this fixture. You know that there's no way you're going to, no matter how you try to play on the day against Real Madrid. It will be difficult for them to beat Real Madrid, whether at home or away from home. So against Inter Milan, it will also be difficult, but they can try to at home leave a footprint, try to win your match on your home turf, and then when you do that, you have a chance of getting through to the next phase of the competition. It's a decent group. I see Real Madrid first, Inter Milan second, Shakhtar Donetsk third, and then Sheriff Tiraspol would be the punching bags in this group.
Group E has got Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Benfica, and Dynamo Kiev. And people are saying, they are feeding Barcelona to Bayern Munich again. This time they don't even have Lionel Messi.
You see, that's where it is. But then they've got a Memphis Depay who is doing so well for himself currently. There's also, I think, the young there. Sergio Busquets is still the leader in that team. Gerard Piqué, okay, maybe he has gone past he's had his good years behind him. But I don't think Barcelona will be up to the task against Bayern Munich. It has to be maybe.
But it doesn't matter. They just have to finish first or second.
Absolutely. So that's just the way it is. So if you're looking at Barcelona right now, you're sure they can beat Benfica. Okay, at least we may be able to get 6 points against Benfica, and then another 6 against Dynamo. So it gives them 12 points, which should be enough to qualify against Bayern.
But this group is also not going to be easy. We've got 3 former champions: Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and Benfica.
So, but then you know how it is. Past glory.
Dynamo Kiev, they too have also left their impression on this competition, so they are not just going to come there and be
in the class of Barcelona and Bayern Munich. We know that currently Bayern are ahead of Barcelona. Barcelona, of course, not in the same sentence with Benfica or Dynamo. We know for sure that these guys have left their footprints on the Champions League, but on 90 minutes and then another 90 minutes against Bayern and Barcelona, we know the outcome. So let's see how it gets to go.
Group F, we've got Villarreal, Manchester United, Atalanta, and Young Boys. Manchester United will feel come on.
We'll finish business here.
We've got to
finish business here too.
Yeah, but they will feel that they should qualify from this group with games to spare. But when you look at what happened between them and Villarreal in the final of the UEFA Europa League, got to wonder, can they do it against the team from Spain?
Well, I think that's where the problem is going to be for them. We know how Spanish oppositions have always been against English oppositions. It's always difficult for you to beat them. Truth is this: I usually say that for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the manager at Manchester United, he's not a tactically gifted coach. If you look at that game, the game was there for him to win it. But then he needed to, I think, Unai Emery, the head coach of Villarreal, which he didn't do on the day. I knew Villarreal would beat them, but I didn't know by how many scoreline. But I know for a fact that if you bring up Villarreal, a lesser talented team compared to Manchester United, I'm sure that Villarreal would of course beat them. No matter how they do that, I was so sure that they were going to, beat Manchester United. So against Villarreal, it's a 1-2 for them. Maybe United first, Villarreal second, Atlanta fourth, and then Young Boys Ben will be fourth on this group. But this is relatively an easy group for Villarreal and Manchester United.
Okay, Group G, we've got Lille, Sevilla, FC Salzburg, and Wolfsburg.
But again, this is where you want to have those big boys in Group B. Just drop one of them here and then take one team here to that other side. I wonder how things like this, happened yesterday.
But Sevilla, they have
Sevilla, but recently they look like a team that is meant for the UEFA Europa League. I mean, they moved from the Champions League and then moved down to the Europa League and do so well for themselves. I don't see them as a Champions League team in any way. Lille, I also fancy them to go through in terms of getting to the next phase of the competition. We know what they did last season in the first league when they won it. So I am tipping Lille and Sevilla to get to the next phase of the competition. Wolfsburg, and I think they've done well for themselves in Bundesliga, but then currently in the Champions League, they look like a new child in school. But then let's see how it gets to go. Red Bull Salzburg is also there too. This will be an interesting group. Maybe for some persons, they will tell you they are not so sure who will qualify here. But then I'm looking at Lille and Sevilla.
Okay, for Group H, Chelsea, the champions, they will take on Juventus, Zenit, St. Petersburg, and Malmo.
Juventus, Chelsea for me. Zenit and Malmo would of course be punching bags in this group. I like this group. Because if Chelsea are not able to beat Juventus home and away, they should beat Zenit home and away, and then Malmo home and away, which of course gives them 12 points. So,
of course, it could be a Juventus without Cristiano Ronaldo, because Fabrizio Romano has said that he has told Juventus that he wants to leave. He wants to leave. He's ready to leave.
Some persons are saying that Ronaldo more like hampers the progress of Juventus, that the team plays better without him in the Champions League, and then in the Italian Serie A that he has not added value to the team. I disagree strongly on that, because if you look at the number of goals, unless maybe you take away the goals, of course, if you take away the goals and then the assists, there's nothing that is left, to just the matter. So if you're taking away the goals, we know where Juventus will be in the last
3 years at Juve. He has scored 101 goals for them.
I mean, that's astronomical. That's like 2 years. He's not scored this season for them in the Serie A, because he did score in their last match. And you look at the numbers. I mean, who gets to score over 100 goals in 2 years? Who does that? It's only Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi that can get you such a record. So I think he adds value to any team he plays in. It depends on how maybe the team is set up, and then of course the players around as well. If you look at Juventus currently, they don't look like the Real Madrid of 7 years ago. They don't even look like the Manchester United of the then Alex Ferguson when Ronaldo was there. And we see some average players in the team. You cannot win the Champions League with such crop of players. Those players who are not inexperienced in that system. Ronaldo has been to the Champions League final a couple of times. You look at the Juve squad. How many of them have gone to the Champions League twice or even 3 times? And you see how it is. One man can have the mentality of winning. What about the other 10 players? What do you expect them to do on the match day? So I think for Juve, they made a mistake last season getting Andre Pirlo to coach the team. I said you don't bring an apprentice to come and coach Juventus, and he did a terrible job. We know the result of that. They did not qualify for the Champions League. That of course put him out of the club. You can't pin that on Ronaldo. He did not employ the coach of the team. You've got to talk about the coach. You've got to talk about the other players in the team. Have they really stepped up to the plate? I don't think they have in the last few years.
All right, let's go on our first break. When we return, we'll be looking at the awards and who won what.
The big leagues are back, and DSTV is the only place you can watch it all. Enjoy live matches weekly from the best leagues in the world. We're talking the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, the Champions League, not to mention the return of the Europa League. That's Salah, Kane, Haaland, Bruno, Lukaku, Suarez, Messi, and CR7.
Oh my goodness!
All week, every week.
You're just lost for words!
Nothing beats the unbeatable football on DSTV.
Uncle Dentist, wetin be cavities and how Colgate take dey protect my teeth from cavities? Shey they use comfort?
No dear, na hole for teeth dey cause most tooth pain wey be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, take brush every day. The confirmed formula go help keep natural calcium inside our teeth. We could protect them from tooth decay.
Time don reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
And the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Honey?
Yes, dear.
I'm tired of the poor power situation. Every time I stock the fridge, I come back to sports food. I think it's about time we go solar.
How?
With Vertical Solar, we can have all our appliances and electronics powered by solar, and they allow us to pay small. We can pay installmentally with as low as 36,000 naira monthly, spread across 12 months.
Tell me more.
I know you like the idea of paying small. Vertical Solar range of products can power all household devices, including air conditioners and water pumps.
What are the benefits of solar power?
We are talking uninterrupted power supply, no monthly electricity bill, no more spending on generator, and no more generator noise.
I see. But how can I locate Vertical Solar?
Head now to 28 Country Home Metal Road off Ajib Junction, Sapele Road, Benin City, or Blossom Mall beside Stop to Shop stores, DBS Road, Asaba. Or you can call them on 0816-170-1105 or 0703-623-4843. You can also send them an email on info@verticalsolar.com.ng.
Vertical Solar, your lifetime power partners.
Having looked at the groups for the UEFA Champions League, the draw was done yesterday. Let's now look at the awards for both the men and the women who won what. So for the goalkeeper, and there are some people are a bit confused as to how this was done. So we're asking, okay, so how did N'Golo Kante win best midfielder of the season? But it was Jorginho who did not win any category that was named the player of the season. So for the positions, the goalkeeper, the defender, the midfielder, and the forward of the season, these were for the UEFA Champions League. Now, for the coach of the season and for the player of the season, they included everything, including, your performance in the Euros. That's the championship that we saw hosted in different countries, including England, and the final featured Italy versus England. You know that Italy won that, so they added that to Jorginho's heroics in the UEFA Champions League and what he did in the Euros, and of course Chelsea won the Super Cup. So that's why it was possible for Jorginho, who didn't win the midfielder of the season in the Champions League, to win the overall player of the season. Okay, and we'll look at the criteria, what was used, how they voted. Yeah, you may think of someone else, like, for instance, the defender of the season in the Champions League. Some are arguing that a Chelsea player should have won it because they consider just 4 goals.
Rudiger should have won that.
Yeah, but when you look at the points that they even got, Rudiger is not even second. Yeah. It was Cesar Azpilicueta that was second. Rudiger was third. Ruben Diaz got more points than them. So these were the people that voted. 24 coaches of the teams who participated in this year's UEFA Euro 2020. Okay, so 24 coaches of the teams who participated in this summer's UEFA Euro 2020. That's the competition that we saw, which we mentioned earlier. England taking on Italy in the final, and Italy won. So the coaches of the club that participated, 80 coaches of the clubs that participated in the group stages of the 2020-2021 UEFA Champions League. Then that's 32 of them, and the UEFA Europa League, 48 of them. Then 55 journalists, people like us, but those ones that are in Europe, and they were selected by the European Sports Media ESM group, one from each of UEFA's member associations. There are 55 countries that make up UEFA, so they selected one journalist from each of these countries. So they were the ones that voted. So it was their vote that they totaled, and then whatever you get, that's what they will now use to determine who was first, second, and so on. Okay, so that's how they got the winners. So for the defender of the UEFA Champions League, it went to Ruben Diaz of Manchester City. Okay, sorry, let's begin from the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper of the year for the UEFA Champions League, it went to Edward Mendy, who is also won the Best African International Award at the Ghana Football Association Awards. Then he was also named the best goalkeeper in the UEFA Champions League. He, of course, considered just 4 goals in the UEFA Champions League.
It's well deserved. I don't think I saw any other goalkeeper there on the lineup that should have won it. I think Mendy has taken the Premier League and the Champions League by storm. I mean, if you look at the guy, he's a decent goalkeeper, someone who initially when you see him, you feel like this guy cannot maybe cut it at the highest level. But I said something when he arrived at Chelsea. I said, if this guy becomes Chelsea's number 1 or gets ahead of Kepa Arrizabalaga, that Kepa will not see the number 1 shirt at Chelsea again. And that's what is happening currently for Benjamin Mendy. He's so consistent that he hardly commits mistakes. And you look at the guy, he's more like a distributor at the back for Chelsea, and it gives them a lot of edge in positions where you have to counter-attack. Your goalkeeper is going to get you the ball no matter how tight the spaces are up front. So I think it's Mendy for me or nobody.
Okay, so for the defender of the season in the UEFA Champions League, it went to Ruben Diaz of Manchester City. So this was what happened. He got 217 points. Cesar Azpilicueta of Chelsea was second. He got 115 points. Then Antonio Rudiger, also of Chelsea, 78 points. Marquinhos of Paris Saint-Germain got 78 points. Thiago Silva of Chelsea got 59 points, and so on. So Ruben Diaz was the dominant, the overwhelming choice for many of the people that voted. So for the midfielder of the season, it went to N'Golo Kante of Chelsea. And of course, he had people like Kevin De Bruyne in this category. The forward of the season went to Erling Braut Haaland, and of course we know that he was the highest scorer in the UEFA Champions League, so he absolutely deserved it, even though Borussia Dortmund did not go very far in the competition. For the men's player of the year, this now went to Jorginho of Chelsea. Recall that as we mentioned, Chelsea won the UEFA Champions League, and then Jorginho was an integral part of that Italian team that went on to win the UEFA Euro competition, and a bit of competition from people like Kevin De Bruyne and his teammates N'Golo Kante. Okay, so these are the winners for the men. Then for the coach of the year, it went to Chelsea's coach Thomas Tuchel, and it was the same process, the same people who voted for each category. They were the ones that voted across the board.
You cannot say it was rigged. I mean, you've got to group votes according to your own bias.
It depends. It depends on
what you want to do.
So guys, there are people listening. The voting is not perfect. It depends on somebody's choice.
Yeah. Yes. You can like a player and then decide for the player.
Yeah.
It's not even because the player is the best.
Exactly.
If I'm a fan of Ronaldo, I'll vote for Ronaldo ahead of Messi in things like this. So that's so it's not usually accurate like that. If you put this out to the fans to vote, I'm sure you will have a different outcome.
It could be accurate, but maybe there is some subjectivity there. Because you could look at certain things and say, okay, why, for instance, would Ruben Diaz be winning it ahead of Cesar Spilicueta or ahead of Antonio Rudiger? And you could say, okay, the Chelsea defense considered just 4 goals. In the final, when they played against, when Manchester City played against Chelsea, Kai Havertz gave Ruben Diaz a thorough time, but is it fair to just use one match to determine who is the overall best? So I think sometimes you look at these things, and that's how they are chosen. Okay, so that's how it went for the men. And of course, the UEFA President's Award went to the Danish medical team, and then to Simon Kjær, the captain of the Danish national team, because of the roles that they played in saving the life of Christian Eriksen during Euro 2020. We all remember that story, and so they gave them an award for what they did. So for the UEFA Champions League goalkeeper of the season, it went to Sandra Panos of Barcelona. In fact, Barcelona just cleared everything. The defender of the season went to Irene Paredes, also of Barcelona. The UEFA Women's Champions League midfielder of the season went to Alexia Putellas of Barcelona. The UEFA Women's Champions League forward of the season went to Jenny Hermoso of Barcelona. Okay, that's how these awards went. So congratulations to all those who won. And by the way, the women's coach of the year also went to Luis Cortés of Barcelona. So Barcelona just wiped everything in the women's category. Chelsea did not win the defender of the season for the men's category. Okay, so that was what happened in the UEFA Champions League draw last night. Okay, let's talk Nigerian football now, and tell you what is going on with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Coach Ginetro has invited 30 players to camp ahead of our 2 games. Let's have the list of those players who have been invited.
All right, so let's start from the goalkeeping department. It's Francis Uzoho of Football Nicosia, Cyprus, Daniel Abiy, Kaizer Chiefs, Marco Koye, Sparta Rotterdam in the Netherlands. Defenders are Chidozie Awazim of FC Boavista, Kenneth Emiro of City Leganes, Leo Malogo of Glasgow Rangers, William Chisekong, Watford, Ole Aino, Torino, Jamilu Collins, SC Peterborough, Abdullahi Shehu, AC Omania Nicosia, Zaidu Sanusi, FC Porto, Kevin Abogoma, TSG Hoffenheim is of course back in the mix. For midfielders, we've got just a few of them. Ogeneka Retebo, Wilfred Ndidi, Frank Onyeka of Brentford, Joseph Ayodele Aribo of Glasgow Rangers, and then for the forwards, we have Ahmed Musa of Fatih Karagümrük of Turkey, Alex Iwobi of Everton, Samuel Kalu of FC Bodo, Victor Shime, Napoli, Kelechi Iheanacho, Leicester City, Moses Simon, FC Nantes, and Paul Onacho of KRC Genk in Belgium. And then let's also look at the 7 others on the standby list of the invited players. Remember, it's an expanded 30-man list for the Super Eagles because Of course, like, some of these guys that I just mentioned may not be in this party, so the NFL
they could play the match against Liberia and then they'll have to return.
So it's,
I don't know why we are even wasting our time with all of this. Why not just get the players that would prosecute the 2 matches?
All right, so for the 7 others who are on the standby list, in case maybe some of those guys decide to not play as a result of what is ongoing in England and then the rest, there's Sarah Murphy here. He plays for FC Lorient. There's Mary Nyekuru. He plays for these days Olympiacos. Taylor Ejuke plays for CSK Moscow. Innocent, I think Boke, he plays for Marble FF in Sweden. He's getting his first call-up. Valentino Zawafo, these days plays for Sporting Telor in Belgium. He's on loan from Galatasaray. Tarin Neboyi is here. He's getting back. He now plays for Venezia FC. And then there's Kingsley Michael from Bologna FC. He's getting his first call-up for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So these guys are the ones on the standby list. Any of them, you may see them in the second game against Cape Verde. Who knows? It depends on how things get to go. So those are the 30-man list for the Super Eagles in the World Cup qualifiers. That's the games between Liberia and Nigeria. And then, of course, Nigeria versus Cape Verde, right there in Cape Verde.
I don't understand why Chidera Educates even on the standby list. Most times I don't understand why Janet Rohr has not fully integrated him into the
guy is the kind of player you want to have in your team. He's a decent footballer. He's fleet-footed. He can score goals. He can assist. He can do a lot of things. I even think he can even plus a number 9. I mean, with his level of quality, you wonder why
I think he's
good
too
player.
Small to be a number 9.
You have a very Sterling sometimes does play that role. You have a good number 9.
That's false 9.
Sometimes you have a good player and then you decide to keep him on a standby list. What is he going to do there? There's Ethan Murphy who is firing in all cylinders for Lyon in France. He's on the standby list.
Why not just take this? You are playing against Liberia. You are playing against Cape Verde, and you want to bring the full complement of the Arsenal that you have. I don't get it.
I mean, I'm not the coach.
And look, and even if it were just okay, there was no problem. There's no issue. The English FA is not saying that the Premier League is not saying that they will not release some players and all of that. Then I can understand. But when you have this issue, this will have been a very good opportunity for you to say, okay, these other players, let me give them the opportunity to play these 2 games. But basically what he is doing is, okay, my old reliables, they will be there. Even if they are saying they cannot play, I will still invite them and hope against hope that they will be allowed to play. And then if they say they will not play, then I can bring in these guys.
If I have a good player, I don't think I will put him on the standby list. What is he going to do there? I will look for someone who is replacing him and then replace him there. Because the idea is having your best leg prosecute a World Cup qualifier. When you get to the World Cup, you have a chance of inviting maybe up to 23 players or thereabouts, and then you can decide to incorporate your best legs there. Well, I'm wondering why Genetro does this all the time. You have good players, you refuse to, and sometimes what he does is when he brings in Chidera Ejuke, he gives him 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Gives him 10 minutes. You feel like, what do you expect this guy to do in 5 minutes, for goodness sake? Like, what do you expect him to? Do you want him to perform wonders in 5 minutes?
Well, I think basically,
then you come back to say, I've invited him. I just
basically, Genetro is showing us his list to the World Cup, to the Africa Cup of Nations. I think basically that's what he's doing. I will hold that.
It makes no sense to bring in a player. You fly a player from Russia down to Nigeria, and then you decide to give the player 5 minutes of football. He doesn't. Okay, the other time he brought in.
It doesn't matter. There are only 3 substitutions.
What I'm saying, if a player is good enough to start, you've got to start him. If a player is good enough to play for 5 minutes, let's see what he can do. Because the idea is, you can't bring a player for a friendly, and then you give him 10 minutes. What's that?
Let's see how things will work out. So let's go to the Beach Soccer World Cup. Yesterday, we saw Tahiti play against Japan in the quarterfinal, and Japan won that game 5-4 after extra time, and then Russia, they were able to beat Spain 4-2. So it is going to be in the semi-final. Sorry about that. So it's going to be in the semi-final, Russia versus Switzerland, and then Japan versus Senegal. And honestly, Africa should be making it to the final of the Beach Soccer World Cup for the first time ever. Senegal have already made history by beating Brazil in the quarterfinal to qualify for the semi-final. So these matches are going to be on the 28th of August. That's tomorrow. We'll have the semi-final games of the Beach Soccer World Cup. So well done to Senegal and to all the other teams that have qualified. Okay, let's talk football now in Edo State. Bendel Insurance, well, we told you that they were supposed to play yesterday against Atletico, but that match wasn't played. We've called the communicated with the media officer of Bendel Insurance, and he said, look, they do not know why the match was not played, but the NNL told them that the match is on hold. So that match, Atletico versus Bendel Insurance, wasn't played yesterday. So I honestly don't understand what's going on.
Hold. Why is it on hold?
I don't know.
You're supposed to communicate to the teams, so they have an idea. Because now what you're doing is you're keeping the members of the media in the dark. The teams who are supposed to be involved in the match, you're keeping them in the dark, and then maybe 24 hours later you release a statement to say you're going to play the next day. It makes no sense. If you're saying the match is on hold, tell us why it's on hold. Is it that the officials were not available for the match? Is it that
it's not even fair to the teams in Group B2, because right now every other group they are done.
Yeah, Group A1, A2, they're done and dusted.
Yeah,
and then it's just
Group B1 has concluded their own. Now it is Group B2, they are still playing. So I think Remorsal have got one more match to go. Bendel Insurance have got 2 matches. And from what we are getting, the Super 8 is supposed to start on the 6th of September. And they said the matches are supposed to conclude. Group B2 matches must conclude by the 1st of September. So if by the 27th of September, Bendel Insurance have not played one of their outstanding games, it means they will have to play 2 matches before the 1st of September. And then on the 6th of September, you're starting the Super 8.
It's not even professional. Ideally, we know that in the Premier League, the last match day, which is March 38th, is played at the same time. Simultaneously across different centers. That's what happens in the professional setting.
Yeah, so that's what they want to do with the.
So you're wondering why. We would have loved the Insurance to play yesterday, so that by the 1st of September we're going to have the other fixtures and it happen simultaneously. So there will not be issues of match fixing. You told this one to win, or you told this one to draw, and then the rest. We start talking about a lot of things that does not help our football to grow in any way. So they've got to be properly organized. If they're listening to us right now, you have to release a statement telling us why the match between Bendel Insurance and Atletico in Delta State did not happen. Let us know. You can't just keep, making blanket statements. You come out to say the match has been put on hold. Put on hold for what reason? Let at least respect the sanctity of the league. Respect the teams there. What they are doing is, it shows they don't even respect Bendel Insurance. They don't respect Atletico. Because you're a league body, you come out to make a statement and say we are no longer going to play this match till further notice. And because that's what I'm getting. Yeah, there's no date for it.
So match didn't hold. NNL stopped it. Reason not known. That's the official information that we got. So, but anyway, as we've told you, Bendel Insurance are in a very good position. They will definitely be playing in the Super 8. But I think by now they should have everything should have been done. So they will be preparing for that, knowing when they are playing, who they are playing, studying their opponents, and all of that. Okay, let's head back to Europe. Unfortunately, this next story is not pleasant, and it involves Manchester City player Benjamin Mendy. I honestly do not like stories like this. Was it last season, early last season, he was involved in something, but that's absolutely not his fault. He had nothing to do with it. It involved me and one of his friends, Bernardo Silva, who just was playing with him, and then he used a
particular word he wasn't supposed to.
No, not a word. He posted a cartoon, something like that. Was like a cartoon,
an image or something.
Yeah, and then he said this was Benjamin Mendy when he was a baby and all of that. But people felt it was racist, and even Benjamin Mendy liked it and laughed, and they said, look, these guys have been friends for years, and so they have been teasing themselves that way. But still, Bernardo Silva was sanctioned for that, and he was very angry and said, come on, so I can't even play with my friend again because of, is this how bad this racist thing has become? But now this is horrible, honestly, because he has even been arrested, and he will be in court today.
He was arrested yesterday.
Yes, and he has been charged with rape. And this, from what we hear, 4 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault. This is serious. It's not like the issues that we've had. You know, even Cristiano Ronaldo was accused of rape, but then it was just, he was never arrested. There was nothing. There was even the lady in question. People started from her own story, and people started questioning it. And there were pictures of she and Cristiano Ronaldo at a party. She was the one that even approached Cristiano Ronaldo, and people were like, "Come on, these were just 2 consenting adults. You approached him, and you guys went and you had fun. Suddenly, you're coming out to say he raped you. There is really no evidence for all of this." And they just basically swept that away. She came with her lawyer and everything, but you could tell from the way the story was going that there was no case. But this one, it appears to be very, very serious.
Yeah, it appears to be serious.
Manchester City have even suspended Benjamin Mendy until investigation is concluded. And this, before the club will take that decision, I assure you that they must have done their own investigation, and they will feel there is something in this.
It's unfortunate.
It looks really bad.
Benjamin doesn't look like that kind of player. I'm not making excuses for him. The investigation is still ongoing. He will be in court today. The court will hear his own side of the story. The victims, they will, of course, also hear their own side of the story. If he's found guilty, he knows the punishment. If he's innocent, he would, of course, be cut loose. City have suspended him. That's the first thing the football club does when a matter like this happens.
The victims, in quotes,
they said they are above 16 years, but
that means they are under 18. Because they didn't say above 18. Above 16.
It could be they are 17 or 16. Yeah. I'm guessing they're trying to protect their
the identity of
the persons involved in it.
Yeah, and they said they took the offenses took place between October 2020 and August of 2021. So it seems like it's just one incident.
Yeah. Remember
4 counts of rape, 1 count of sexual assault.
Remember the one that happened to I think Adam Johnson.
Yeah,
was a player of Sunderland.
Adam Johnson. It wasn't even rape from what we were told. They said he was grooming the lady, and he touched her inappropriately, and there were text messages that were exchanged between them, and she even told him his age, and he said, "Hey, you look older than your age," you know, and he went to jail for that, and his career basically just ended.
Well, let's just see what the court will say today. Because the truth is now it's in front of a court. You can't, preempt what the court will do. The evidence on ground, we were not privy to that. So City are doing their own private investigation to see whether he's culpable or not. If he's found wanting, he will be given further punishment. But then the courts have got to do their own job to say who is guilty or not.
As they said, they have suspended him. They will not be making any more comments until the process is completed, because this is a legal issue, and they do not want to be sub judice in this. So that's why they are not going to be making any comments about it. But and the fact that this guy is black, I'm not trying to be sentimental here or everything, but we all know, the whole world knows what black players face, black people in Europe. We know what they face, and now you have this coming in. So Etim Essen, our fantastic player, because of like something like this, and it wasn't like his own case was not even like he saw the lady, grabbed her, tore off her clothes, and had carnal knowledge of her. She was under 18. Yeah, so he said he didn't know, because he said, I saw you body big now. I don't know. So unfortunately, he was having that relationship with her. Before he knew it, the thing don't turn to serious. The biggest mistake he made was to run away from Belgium. That was the biggest mistake he made. He should have fixed the matter, but because he lost some of his properties there. The way things were going then, and once you run, it means you're guilty. The people just assume that you are guilty. So you can run. Please don't go and say, because we know how jungle justice works here. Don't say something happened and we said do not run. Once you run, you are guilty. If you can see that your life is in danger at that point, run. But run to the police station. Absolutely. Yeah, you could. Unfortunately, it happens. It happens. Even yesterday, my call her my niece. She's the daughter of my cousin. Was knocked down by a vehicle, but the person stopped and took her to the hospital. She's okay now. She's okay. Thank God. So if that kind of thing happens, and you can see that they are coming to burn you inside your car,
run away.
Run to the police station. Go and report yourself.
Yeah.
That look, it was an accident. I committed a crime and whatever. But I'm coming here so that they will not kill me. That's the kind of situation. But when you are accused of rape and you run away from that place, you just run away to another city. You didn't go to report to the police station. You didn't try to prove your innocence. Then it will be assumed that you are guilty. So for Manchester City and Benjamin Mendy, that is what is happening. Okay. So let's see how this will go. But it's really, really disappointing. I want to appeal to I believe some young footballers are listening to us.
Especially Nigerian players.
Please,
because
once you go to Europe, in fact, from here, start it here before you start anything. And unfortunately, it's happening now. People will. I saw a video on YouTube recently. If not that there was a CCTV camera in a particular place that these guys went to. I think it was a nightclub. The guy is of Indian heritage. He was at the club. This girl approached him. They were both students at the university. This girl approached him, and you could see she was the one initiating everything, kissing him forcefully and everything. And then they left together. When they got to her dormitory, there was also video camera showing that she practically dragged him into her room. And then the next day, she reported that the guy raped her. And if there was no evidence, they didn't have all of this. They were just going to assume that the guy raped. So even if you are going into a relationship, you've got to shine your eye, very well. Be very careful of what you're doing.
You want to ask a girl out, ask how old are you?
How old?
First of all, that's the first question.
Yes, and ensure that you have
evidence of that.
Yeah, because and even if she doesn't bring her birth certificate or whatever, ensure that you have where she told you,
whether on social media
or something, that you have evidence that she told you she was above 18. That's if it is even consensual. That's what we're talking about. Because if the person is not up to 18, it doesn't matter whether you say no, she accepted now, I gave her money, and she, no.
The law is clear on that.
A child cannot give consent, so you've got to be very sure of all of this. And when you go there, you might be attracted by the nightlife and everything, and you have money in your pocket. You want to start enjoying your life. Be very careful. These things could just ruin your career. You can see it happening. Ask, if you ever meet Etimesin, ask him what happened. Okay, so please, we just want to appeal to our young budding footballers. You have to be extremely careful when you go to Europe. Okay, let's quickly talk athletics before we leave the studio. Shirley Ann Fraser-Pryce. This woman is 34 years old. She took time off athletics to go and start a family. But she's still running as fast as anybody. She clocked the third fastest time in the 100 meters. So it means only Florence Griffith Joyner, who has a world record of 10.49 seconds, and her eternal rival Ellen Thompson Hera, who ran 10.54 seconds, have run faster than Shirley Ann Fraser-Pryce. But last night at the Diamond League meet in Lausanne, Switzerland, Shirley Ann Fraser-Pryce ran 10.64 seconds. It's a personal best for her, and she beat the reigning Olympic double champion Shirley Ann Ellen Thompson Hera, who clocked 10.64 seconds, and that is the fastest losing time in the event's history. Then, of course, Sherika Jackson was able to finish third in that event. So it means that these Jamaican ladies, the last three major races at the Olympic Games, they finished first, second, third. At the event where Hera Thompson ran 10.54 seconds, it was the same trio that finished first, second, third. And then last night in Lausanne, Switzerland, at the Diamond League meet, but this time they just swapped the first and the second position. Shirley Ann Fraser-Pryce finished first, and then Ellen Thompson was second before Sherika Jackson finished it. So Jamaica, it seems there's no stopping them in the sprints.
Absolutely, there's no stopping them. I think they have a good system. That's what works for them.
Yep.
If you even look at the World Athletics Championships that happened in Nairobi or ended in Nairobi a couple of days ago, they have quality representation, and that's the kind of system you love to have in a country like Nigeria. We've got so many persons involved in athletics, but they have to be trained, told what to do. It's not just enough to have the talent, Ibrahim. It's good when you have the talent and then you have the right system to groom that talent, and that's why the Americans have lastly been very successful in athletics. The Jamaicans, to an extent, the South Africans as well, because they have a system that works. They have a system that grooms talent every now and then. So we have to look at things like this to copy and not copy the wrong things, and then come back here and of course sometimes we even copy the right things, and when we come here we refurbish and then do the wrong thing. So we have to look at what these guys are doing that is working for them and then pick one or two things from there.
There was a shock in the poll vote. Ahmad Duplantis, who is the world champion, is also the Olympic champion. He finished fourth. He did not even finish third in this competition. He failed to clear 5.82 meters, and this is only the second time in his past 30 competitions that Duplantis has not won. He has not finished first. He also took the title in last year's Diamond League meets. America's Chris Nielsen won the event by clearing 5.82 meters. Okay, so these are some of the stuff that happened at the Diamond League meets. And quickly now, before we leave, let's tell you that Manchester City, that Cristiano Ronaldo to Manchester City, it looked like it is on, but from what we hear, Juventus, we told you this yesterday, they are not going to allow Cristiano Ronaldo to go for free. But Cristiano Ronaldo has told them that he wants to leave. He is determined about this. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Cristiano Ronaldo,
that's what it is.
Cristiano Ronaldo has told them he wants to leave, that he will not even play their next game. That's what
maybe it was even one of the, maybe it was the reason why he did not start their first match of the season in the Italian Serie A.
Fabrizio Romano confirmed that too, that he asked to be on the bench, but when he came on, he did well. Let me just quote Fabrizio Romano. Confirmed, Cristiano Ronaldo has definitely decided to leave Juventus. They put leave in capital letters, and he asked the club to sell him immediately. Juventus are waiting for Manchester City official bid to arrive in the next hours to reach an agreement as soon as possible. Cristiano Ronaldo only wants to leave Juventus, and he won't be available for next match. Judge Mendes is working directly with Man City board to complete the agreement on personal terms / contract for Ronaldo. Manchester City are also working on the outgoings to proceed with official bid to sign Cristiano Ronaldo. Juventus wants 28 to 30 million euros. Raheem Sterling could leave Manchester City if right bid arrives. Gabriel Jesus will stay at Man City as Pep Guardiola wants to keep him at the club. So that's what Fabrizio Romano sent out.
Okay.
Time for us to blow the final whistle on this edition of the show.
All the decisions that have happened are parts of the past. Let's look and move forward. It does not have to prove anything to anyone. Harry is with us, so we have to take advantage of it. Tottenham boss Nuno Espirito Santo says Harry Kane is committed to the club and that it is time for everyone to move forward after the England captain scored twice on his return to the sports side. And that's the final whistle here on Sports Fiesta this morning.
All right, thank you very much for listening to us. Sorry, we were unable to take your calls. We'll be doing that at 4 p.m. when we come for the evening edition of the show. My name is Saliu Ibrahim. I've been doing this with CJ the Maestro. Please stay tuned to 90.7 KFM Benin City, because up next is KU News Updates. Bye-bye.